Are you wondering what $450,000 will buy you in the Lexington area? Well, you're in for a treat today because we're going to be taking a look at 3 different houses in 3 different neighborhoods. We're going to look at how much are these houses per square foot. We're going to see how big the yards are in comparison. We're going to look at one up in the north, one down in the south, and one over on the west side of town. We're going to take a look at the lifestyle. How far is the commute into downtown? What kind of restaurants are there? What kind of shopping is in the area? All of these things we're going to be taking a look at. So whether you're relocating from out of state or just across town, this video is going to give you a clear picture of which direction maybe you need to go. So stick with me. I'm going to get started right now.
We're going to jump into my computer so we can do a full Google Map vlog style tour of these 3 houses that we have located to be in our $450,000 range. I want to show you in what areas of Lexington they are, what the schools are. So let's jump into it. Now, here we are looking at Lexington. I scoot up here where I can get a look at. Now, when we're looking at Lexington, we always like to focus on our New Circle Road, our main circle here, as you can see with my cursor, all the way around Lexington. And typically we start in that area and we kind of work our way down. So we're going to be talking about these 3 houses in 3 different areas, all in about the same price range. So I want to start down here in this southeast corner. You can see my first house. We're going to kind of just look to see where it is. Now you can see it is right here off of I-75, so really close to the interstate here. You can see, let's zoom in just a little bit more. You can see that it is very close here to this road here is Man of War. So getting out onto Man of War, you can be here into Lexington by getting on New Circle Road. You can be anywhere around Man of War. So it's very convenient for travel to be here. Lots of people like to be in this area. Maybe if you work down in Richmond, you can get here on I-75. Maybe you even work up here north to get up to the northern part of the city. We're going to take a deeper dive look and to see how long it's going to take us maybe to get to different places. But before I show you that, I wanted to show you, now this is the elementary school for this neighborhood. Now it's a newer school. Let me see if I can kind of look through some of the pictures here to kind of give you a look at what the school looks like. Just a really nice, a large school here in this new part of Lexington. Now this home is not a brand new home. So let's just kind of get into it and let me show you what this home actually looks like. We're going to look at it on the street level first. I'm going to give you just a good look at, what kind of neighborhood it's in. So many times people, they want to look at houses, but they're not sure, when you're looking from out of state, you don't know what the houses around it. It's easy to look on Google and see the picture of the house, but what do the neighbors look like? Now it looks like this picture was probably made, I don't know, looks like maybe it is springtime because the grass is really green. But let's just take a little tour down the road to look at all the neighboring houses. It is a newer neighborhood. You can tell that because of the immature trees that we see here. Some of these maple trees that are the larger trees, they probably, they grow pretty quickly. But these other trees you can tell are pretty small. But you can see it's a nice neighborhood. All the houses appear to be well kept. You have a mixture of vinyl and brick. Let's go back down the road here to the house that we're looking at. So you can get really a good idea of what the area looks like with all the houses around it. So I want to take a quick look if we can, maybe to see, how far apart are these houses. Now these newer houses, as you can tell, they are closer together than houses in some older neighborhoods. And maybe that it would be a downfall for you. You would not want to have anything that close together. So you might want to think about that. Now let's go back and take a look at where this is in relation to some other things here. Now, lots of dining, lots of shopping, and great travel in this neighborhood. And as I just showed you, it's fairly close to the school here. Now, the high school here, let's take a look at where it is in relation to our house that we just looked at. Now, it's on the north part really, of where our house is. So our house that we are looking at is right down here. You can see where my cursor is. And, you know, the elementary school is right down here. But you can see that the high school is a little bit to our north and to the west up here. Now, it is one of the newest high schools in Lexington. And if you get over there and check out greatschools.com, or maybe it's .org, or look at niche.com, if you look at the different high schools in Lexington, it does have a pretty good ranking as far as, you know, student to teacher ratio and some of those things, academics. And those will be the things you need to check into if that's something, you know, this area is something you're considering, and if you have children that are going to be in this school system. Now, some of the other things I wanted to look at here in this Hamburg area, I get lots of reach outs for this area, and that's why I wanted to pick a house in this Hamburg area so that you could get a look at it. Now, this one is priced at $445,000. So that puts it at about $166 a square foot. So let's compare it as we go to the next properties that we're going to look at to see, you know, do you get more house for your money down in this newer area, or are prices about the same? Before we jump over to look at the house, I wanted to zoom in and just show you some of the things that are here right off of I-75 in Hamburg. We do have right here, you can see we have Costco, we have Cabela's. Over here we have Hamburg Pavilion, we have a Crumble store, you know, there's a Meijer right here. Lots of different places to eat. I'm going to see if I can zoom really close to maybe see what you can, you know, see all the different restaurants that you can see them here on my screen. We've got Outback Steakhouse. We've got a Grater's Ice Cream, Drake's, Malone's, Chase Bank is here, Logan's Roadhouse, Rafferty's, Culver's, Panera Bread. I'm almost sure there's a Five Guys here. Let me see. Oh, we have a Red Lobster, a Chewy's, you know, so really anything that you could want is in this area. Big shopping area. Like I said, very close to, you know, large grocery stores that you'd want to shop at. Now, Publix, the new Publix here in Lexington is not down in this area. So if that's somewhere you'd want to shop, you'd have to drive over there. Now, let's take a look real quick. Let's jump over here and look at my MLS. I want to show you this house and exactly what it looks like. As you can see, it is all brick on the front. It does have vinyl on the sides. Now, we're not going to go through all of the pictures. There's a beautiful front door. I just want to show you the really nice living space in this house. It does have the hardwood floors, really beautiful staircase. It has some moldings that kind of let this house stand out. I would like to get over here and kind of show you what the kitchen looks like. Everybody wants to know about the kitchen. So like I said, this one is priced at $445,000. So just under our level that we were going to be looking at today in the $450,000 and what that would buy you here in Lexington. So it's a pretty nice size kitchen. You know, maybe you could change out the countertops in the backsplash. It does look to have newer appliances. Very well lit, lots of lighting. So this house, now I do want to skip over here and show you the back of this house. A lot of people do want to look at to see what it looks like outside. Do you have any outdoor living space? So you can see it does have the covered porch. And here again, you can look at this house and see how close it is to the neighbors. Vinyl siding, you know, on the sides and the back. So looking at the details of this house is 2,680 square feet. It was built in 2014, so it's about 11 years old. Definitely not a new build, but it's not something from the 1960s or 70s, so it does have a modern design. What do you think about this one? As we go through these houses, leave it in the comments and let me know, hey Lisa, this is something that I really like. I'd like to see more, maybe in this area. This house does have 4 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. Just a really beautiful house in a nice area of Lexington. So at $166 a square foot, let's take a look at our next place.
Hi, I'm Lisa Prather with Century 21 Simpson & Associates. We get calls, texts, emails all the time from people all over calling in wanting to know about living here in Central Kentucky. We absolutely love helping people make that relocation here. So if you're thinking about relocating to the Lexington, Frankfort, Georgetown, anywhere in Central Kentucky area, reach out to me, give me a call, send me a text or an email. I'd love to help you make the move into Lexington.
Okay, so let's zoom out so I can kind of give you a look back again at where we are on our map. Here we have New Circle Road going all the way around Lexington. We were just now looking down here in our Hamburg area, which is located here where you can see my cursor. But now this house that we're going to look at is just up here north. So actually before you get into Lexington on I-64 coming from the west, you would come to this neighborhood, which is kind of close to Masterson Station, and we have looked at this some in the past, but I want to zoom in and kind of show you some of the things that are around this. Now, like I said, this one is also right on I-64, just easy travel to get right on the interstate. You could be in and out, getting off and on this interstate pretty quickly. You can see that you could travel right here and be right down here onto New Circle Road, travel pretty easily to get into downtown, probably about a 15-minute drive down into downtown if you're going down into, Rupp Arena or down onto Main Street or Broadway, Vine Street, wherever you might be working downtown. In this area we have, let's zoom in a little bit. We do have a golf course here at Griffin Gate, and we've looked at that in the past. There's another golf course up here close to where, not too far from this house. We'll see if we can find it. But what I wanted to point out is right here, you can see that this is the new Publix supermarket. It was the first one that was opened here in Lexington. There is another one over in Palomar. But it's been a real hit for people who live in this area that love to get in there to Publix. Now, there are lots of different elementary schools in this area because, as you can see, just here in this section, you can see all of the building that has gone on here and the streets that are added. Because if we zoom back out on our map, you can see that just beyond this neighborhood, it's a lot of horse farms. It's a lot of large acreage, so not a lot of neighborhoods just beyond where this property is that we're looking at. So let's kind of get back in here and let's see if we can take a look at what it might look like on our map. Now let's travel down the street so you can get just an idea of what is in this area. I'm not sure why it keeps blurring it out for us. But you can see that there are one-story houses. There's still some construction going on here. Two-story houses, not a lot of mature trees, as you can tell. So this is a newer neighborhood. Here in this Kearney Creek neighborhood. You can see that lots of building is still going on here. I was going to try to see if we can look between the houses. Now, take a look at this and you can tell that these houses have a little bit more space between each house. So if you're looking for something with just maybe a little bit more yard than what we saw down at our other house, then this neighborhood might be something for you. Let's travel back on. Looks like this is, looks like this one will be a dead end right here. So probably a lot of green space still around you here. Let's take a look at our layers map. It kind of gives us a good idea of the green space that's around. Now this is the home that we're looking at. And you can see all of this is farmland. Some of it is owned by the University of Kentucky for their agricultural programs. You've got this neighborhood here, but you've got I-75 and I-64. It is merged together right in this section. But look up here. So we have our Kearney Hills golf links. Yes, I knew there was a golf course up here somewhere. Let's see if we can click on that and get maybe a picture of what this would look like. Beautiful. Beautiful green grass. It's got a small lake there. You can see some of the, let's go back to this picture. You can see some of the farmland that's around this. A beautiful place to spend an afternoon. Now let's get back. I want to just be able to show you, if you live in this area up in this north side of Lexington, lots and lots of green space up here. if you get over just a little bit, this road right here is 421. It's Leestown Road. This will take you into Frankfort. Give you a zoom out so you can get an idea. But you can see from all the green space, there's really no neighborhoods, really just outside of what we're looking at right here at the top of our map. If you want something that's close to town, but really, it's not in the middle of everything, this might be a good option for you. So let's go over and take a look. I want to look real quick on our MLS and let's see what this house looks like. Now let's look at some of the details first. Now this house is priced at $439,900. So just a little bit less than the last one that we saw. It's priced at $139 a square foot. So significantly less. And the square footage of this is quite a bit more. It's 3,159 square feet. So you see that you really do get more for your money if you're in this north side of Lexington. Now, is it a more desirable area? As far as the schools go and the shopping, it probably doesn't have the shopping. Well, I know it doesn't have the shopping that you would find down in Hamburg, but it does have the convenience for travel because it is close to New Circle Road. You can be on the interstate very quickly. You could be in downtown probably quicker from this address than you could down in Hamburg. So it depends on where you need to be to what would be more suitable for you. But if you're looking for a house just under that 450 range, this would be a great house. Let's take a look at some of the photos. We're not going to look at all of them. Now this one, let's see. It does have some vinyl, but not a lot, just a little bit across the back. It's got, looks like a walk-up basement. It's got some nice sidewalks. Here's some pictures of the inside. Maybe it does have some carpet, may need to be replaced. If you don't like carpet, you could probably open that wall up there in the kitchen and make that more one space. So there are some things here that you could do to make this house more what you would want. This house is a little bit older. It was built in 2008, but priced at 1,831 square feet upstairs, and then you've got another 1,300 square feet downstairs. This would be a really large house for a growing family. Now, jumping back in our map, we want to look at the last property on our list. Oh, before we look at that last property, I did want to show you the park here at Masterson Station, because as you can see, this park, it is large. It is all of this green space here. They have this equestrian ring, so you can go there at certain times of the year, and they have horses there. You can walk right up to the fence. This park does host the Lexington Bluegrass Fair, so lots of people travel in and out of there in June during the time for the fair. But because you're really so close to this, a great place to take your kids to play at the park. Let's see if we can look at some of the pictures here. It does have a really large dog park. It also has a splash pad. Kids' soccer fields are here. Look at this splash pad. It's pretty cool. I don't know if I can blow it up where you can get a good look at it or not. So just a nice place to go for the summer, close to where you live there. So it would be a great park to really spend some time in. Now we did look at how close this one was to our Publix, and there are some other new things coming into this area. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit closer so you can kind of get an idea. Now people do like living in this area because you can see how quickly you could get down here to New Circle Road. And once you get on New Circle Road, you could be, anywhere in the city relatively quickly, because the traffic does generally move pretty quick. Now, right now, they are doing construction here at this intersection getting on to New Circle Road. So sometimes of the day I avoid coming into town in that area because traffic could be backed up here. But once they get that finished, it's going to be a really nice and make travel through here much easier. Now, depending on what time of day it is, once you get over here on 25 going into downtown Lexington, it would probably take you about 16 to 18 minutes to get from this north side of Lexington here in this area. If you live in this area and you want to get into downtown, this would be a convenient place to live. And it appears, by the comparison of our two houses we've seen so far, it is the least expensive. You get more for your money by living in this neighborhood. But what about our last place? Be sure to leave it in the comments and let me know. Between houses in 1 and 2, what do you think? Is it better to pay a little bit more money and maybe have the convenience of living in the south part of Lexington down near Hamburg, or maybe living up in this northern area and traveling down there when you wanted to do extra shopping? Let's take a look at this third house. Now let's get our bearings here. Here we are in our New Circle Road area. Down here is where we looked at our first house. Then if we look up this direction, right up here is where we saw our second house. So you can see they're complete opposite ends. But now this one is going to be a little bit closer to our Palomar area that we've talked about, Beaumont type area. We've looked at this area before. This area is a desirable area to live. So I wanted to pull a house in this neighborhood to kind of give you an idea maybe of what is available here. Now, the first house that we looked at, $445,000. The second house we looked at was a little more affordable at $439,000. Now this house that we're going to look at is a little more expensive and just over our budget. But let's take a look at it real quick. Now, this one, as you can tell, is in a more established neighborhood. Let's kind of look down the street. You can see that the trees are mature trees, so this house is probably significantly older than the last two that we've looked at. Let's see if we can kind of take a look at maybe the distance between the houses. As you can tell, we do have a little more space between the houses, and sometimes that does cost us a little bit more money, and we are in an older area of Lexington. So you can see that this is more of your standard 1950, 60, 70 style homes that have this much larger lot. So let's see if we can get back over here to our house, and let's take a look at really what's here. So we're going to zoom in. Now the schools around this house, we've got our Jesse Clark Middle School. Not sure which elementary school, but we'll check on that in just a second. But you can see that it is pretty close to the middle school. This is in the Lafayette High School district. So if you're looking to get into that district, this would be the house for you. But before we hop over there and check some of those things out, I just wanted to show you what is close by as far as restaurants. So we have Panera Bread. We have another Malone's over here. We have Sedona Tap House. I wanted to show you that because it's kind of like one of my favorite places. I really like to eat here. It really has a good vibe when you go in. I just think I don't know if it has any pictures of the food here, but let's take a look at some of the things here. I haven't been there in probably several months, so it's about time for me to head in there and try it out. Looks like some fish, different wraps. Got probably their signature drink, pasta dish. There's their steak. All kinds of really good food to try out there at Sedona. And so you can see how close that is to the house that we're looking at today. Now, lots of doctors' offices are over here in this area close to Beaumont. And we've looked at the Beaumont area. You can see it's all of this area here. So pretty close. Now, with this house, you can also see that we are right between this Circle 4 is New Circle Road. You can see runs here. And on the back side of this neighborhood is Man of War. So it's not close to the interstate, but you could be on New Circle Road or Man of War quickly. Now, if you are working downtown, you could get on 68, which is Harrodsburg Road. It takes you straight into downtown Lexington. If you work over here at the hospital, it's very quick to be here. Lots of hospitals here. We've got St. Joseph here. We've got UK over here. And I think we've got Good Samaritan just right up here on this corner. So it doesn't take long to get into downtown. And if you're looking for a house to be close to downtown, this one might be the one for you. Also, this house is really close here to Publix. And this was the second Publix that came in here in Lexington. I'm hearing that there's another one, but I'm not sure for that, so don't quote me on it. But so right here you have Publix, easy travel to get over there. Like I said, this is a great area to live. I wanted to show you how close really it is up here to get to the airport. So if you just take Man of War, you see this outer road here, you just take it all the way up here to 60. US 60 runs right. Get my cursor here. You can see this is US 60, which is Versailles Road. It will take you west all the way into Versailles, but right here is Bluegrass Airport. And just across from Bluegrass Airport is Keeneland. And, you know, if you've never been into Kentucky, definitely into Lexington for a horse race, 2 weeks in the spring and April and 2 weeks in the fall, sometime usually first 2 weeks of October, maybe the second and third week of October. Nothing more incredible than watching a live horse race. It's very different than watching it on TV. So if you're planning on making a trip into Lexington, maybe to look at some properties, reach out to me, give me a call, send me a text or an email. I'd love to help you find a property like this. And if you say, Lisa, I really did like, you know, this neighborhood that you've just shown us over here on the west side of Lexington, but this is my budget and I'd like for you to help me find something, you know, in this budget, reach out to me and let me get you set up on a subscription, because houses in these areas that come up and, you know, you might want to get on a subscription list so that you can start getting all the new listings or listings that either come down in price or maybe they come back on the market. Then those houses would be sent directly to your email. Now we've got to look at this house pretty quick. So let's get over here to my MLS and let's take a look at our last house that we wanted to look at today. Now, before we look at the pictures though, I want to see, I can't remember what year it was built. All right, so this one is older. 1959, this house was built. 3-bedroom, 2 full baths. It is 1,755 square feet, and that puts it at $266 a square foot. So the most expensive house and the most expensive per square foot is in this house. So let's take a look. What do you think? Now, when you look at this house, you can see that the neighbors are not real close. You've got some mature trees in the backyard. Looks like it is a fieldstone type house, a newer roof. Now we've got original hardwood floors that have been sanded and refinished. Looks like they've updated a bathroom with a nice walk-in shower and just a beautiful place. They've done a lot of upgrades to this property. It's got the light color paint, beautiful floating vanity there in this bathroom. Looks like tile floors. This must be the second bathroom. And the tile there does match the first one. So the hardwood floors run throughout the house, even into the kitchen. What do you think about that kitchen? I mean, beautiful. Double windows over the sink, white cabinets. Looks like white quartz countertops. Beautiful peninsula. Then you've got this really large family room. You know, what do you think about this property? Now look at this backyard. Now this is what we were talking about. If you buy something in an older section of Lexington, you're more likely to get these larger backyards. So if that's something that you're looking for, these houses don't come on the market real frequently. So reach out to me, send me an email or send me a text. I'd be happy to help you look for something in this area. Now, this house is in this Stonewall Elementary School. I want to show you how close it is to the property that we just looked at. Here's the property for sale, and here's how close it is to the elementary school. But what do you think about this neighborhood here on the west side of Lexington? And so of all the things that we've really looked at today, let's kind of zoom out where you can see our first property down here to the south, right here on I-75. Then the next property we saw was up here to the north, right on 64 as it's coming into Lexington and joining into I-75, but north of the city, as you can tell. Then we had this property right inside of Man of War, just outside of New Circle Road, in a very desirable area in Lexington, at the most expensive of the ones that we're going to be looked at today and the most per square foot, but it has a bigger yard. So leave me a comment, let me know. Yeah, Lisa, I really love that yard. My kids would have a place to play, ball in the backyard, just a beautiful place to be. So reach out to me and let me know which one you really liked, and really, what about the neighborhoods? So when we try to think about what is the best place to live in Lexington, that depends on you, what it is that you're looking for. depending on whether you have kids, maybe they're homeschooled, so it doesn't matter what school system that they're in, or you're looking to retire and you want to be next to a golf course and you really want a one-level home with a very small yard. These are all the questions that I ask my buyers when they call me. I get people calling all the time from all different areas all over the country and even locally. So if you have a house to sell here in the Lexington area, reach out to us and let us help you get that house sold, because we have buyers calling all the time looking for properties here in Lexington.
So now you've seen 3 different options here in the Lexington area. We've looked at one all the way down in Hamburg, down on the southeastern part of Lexington, very close to the interstate, just off of Man o' War. That house was priced per square foot in a really good school district. It was close to lots of shopping, lots of restaurants, some of the best places really in Lexington to eat or shop. Then we traveled north. We looked at a house up near Masterson Station. We looked at the golf courses. Really nice area. The house gave us more money per square foot than either of the other 2 houses. Then we traveled over to the west side of Lexington, over near Palomar, and we took a look at an older house there between the New Circle Road and the Man o' War area. Gave us 3 different price ranges, all close though to the $450,000 range. So which one was for you? Leave it in the comments and let me know the yays and the nays, the pros and the cons, what you thought about each one of these properties. So I was doing some research and I see that currently in Lexington, the average sales price, not the median, but the average sales price in Lexington is $339,000. And the average days on the market are about 48 days. So that is our wrap up of what you can find in Lexington for around the $450,000 price range. What did you think about our video today? Leave me a comment and let me know if there are other price ranges that you'd be interested in, other areas of Lexington that you'd be interested in, or maybe you'd like to know what you could buy in Georgetown or Frankfort or Versailles in that same price range. And until next time, I hope to see you around town.